Okay, good evening everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to all the members of the public.
It's more than a panel.
I know. I actually think it's really good when we get members of the public. I think we do a better job of making decisions when we've got people here, so truly welcome. We'll start off, item 1 is open session at planning, where we have up to 15 minutes for members of the public to speak. And you have 3 minutes potentially each to speak. After that, with a few sort of housekeeping type things to go through, it'll literally take a few minutes. We'll suspend standing orders then, and then that allows councillors to ask questions about the subjects you've spoken on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, okay, off we go. Item 1. Who would like to start as speaking? Your 3 minutes start.
We'll put up for 3 minutes, Joe.
Yeah. No, my concern is the car park with the rumours at the moment regarding storage container and what size it's going to be. So far, we've only heard that it's going to be the size of a large car, which I find baffling because over many years we've done food and drink festivals and we've had to hire a transit van just to get the gazebo and table and the stand in a van. So I just find it bewildering that you're going to get 10 stalls in space of a car space, and whereabout it's going to be located. We'd just like some answers and clarification. And if this market is busy, we might be going from 10, say to 15 or 20. And what happens then? Yeah. Why weren't provisions made for this originally anyway? It's baffling that nearly £11 million being spent and nobody thought about where market stalls and gazebos and everything were going to be kept. It's mind blowing.
Well, I have a question for you.
No, they can't do that.
Why?
What questions
So,
are there?
any questions?
We'll pick up shortly.
Sorry.
Is anyone else wishing to speak?
If this storage container, or whatever it may be, is going to be situated on the entertainment area, what percentage of the entertainment area will it take up? Bearing in mind that a large car is anything up to 5 metres by 2 metres. That's a big space, and that's only for 10 stalls and gazebos. We did ask, could it not be put on the car park behind the library, and then it would be out of the way and it wouldn't be taking up this space we've waited 2 years for. That's me.
Okay, thank you.
No, I've got nothing. Just here to listen.
Anyone else wish to speak?
Well, I can when you're ready.
Yes, when the time is yours.
Well, thank you. I mean, I will be quick. My name is Steve Daly. I've done the planning applications for this market. I can see that's a big concern. I saw your comments on the planning application and I watched the last meeting. I see there was considerable concern that I wasn't here, and I want to apologise for not being able to be here. I'm a member of Holmfirth Camera Club, which meets on a Monday night, and a week previously to the last meeting, as we were getting ready, one of our members keeled over and dropped dead. And even saying that, it's a great shock. I'm a retired vicar, and they asked me to say a few words to open the next meeting, which was the night that you were meeting here. So I'm afraid I thought it was more important to go and do that. And I did explain that, although I didn't put it in my email. So that is my reason. I want to explain, I think, if I can briefly, about the background to this whole application, and then we can come to a time of questions.
Just standing up, isn't it?
No.
Alright.
No, because, I mean, I hope I can do it in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. The first bit of background is the decision to close the former market. which left Holmfirth obviously with no longer being a market town. And there were 3 or 4, maybe half a dozen traders going to be put out of business. So the next thing that happened then was that Holmfirth Ford was granted permission to hold a market licence on condition of obtaining planning and other necessary permissions. We then started to search for a site that would enable the market to thrive rather than just survive. If you're going to do something, you may as well do it well. So we wanted really to thrive, and we wanted to turn Holmfirth back into a flourishing market town for residents and visitors, for tourists, for businesses, and so on. We had initial agreement with the Co-op and with Kirklees to use part of Crown Bottom car park, and at the last minute, well, they promised us that we could all do this. At the last minute, we called a meeting to say, look, when are you going to help us do this? And they said, well, you can't without, some serious considerations, which we then abandoned that site. But within 3 weeks, we found this other site at School Street and had put in for planning permission. We were looking what turned out to be effectively an emergency, because we were told that within 3 months, it takes planning permission 3 months, minimum to get. We were running, we thought, into the timeline for that, and we submitted a planning application, but also talked to some friends about owners' agreements, and there were 3 conditions attached to all of those things. The site was to be limited to School Street road surface and not to the grass over the wall, because that was grassland and ought not to be driven on or used or gone on. So that site has since been cleared. Secondly, the use of it was strictly temporary. I put in for planning permission for 3 years. I thought that would be double the amount that we'd need. That's up on the 9th of May, next month. So of course it's taken a long time to do. And we were granted planning permission on the condition that the use shall then permanently cease. And then thirdly, the agreements that we had were strictly informal and done because of the emergency, effectively, that we faced. Our friends are a national charity, and we were advised that they're obliged by the Charity Commission to make the best use of their assets, which meant that they would, if we were to enter into any agreement with them, they would have to charge us market rates for the use of their site, which we would not be able to afford, and which they didn't want to charge us because they thought that was rather silly. So we were given use of the site on the basis of we turn a blind eye and no questions are asked, which we've been absolutely grateful for. They did consult lawyers, not only locally but nationally, about that, and they were told that there could be no other way around that. Thirdly, so then there's a whole thing then about the intention always to return to the former site across the road. This was provided for in the design of what we came to call Market Square for festival and events. It's built into that all the way along, and we argued about that in our pre-planning application, which we did for moving the market across the road, which is, of course, has just been granted. And then finally, we were informally promised help from so many different officers of Kirklees, and by the time we asked for help, they'd all left. It's kind of one of those things that happen. I have to say that the officers we've been in touch with actually have been very helpful, but they don't seem to talk to each other. So we can get agreements, or we can get suggestions about one thing, and then they go back to the office, and it doesn't seem to work. We have a number of outstanding issues that we're still trying to work on with them, and I can explain to that if indeed you want to talk about it. So I'll shut up at this point.
Okay. 2. As you probably realise, this meeting is being recorded. Does anyone else wish to make another recording in addition to that? No?
I would say that the visualisation of the new event space and car park provided by Kirklees Council does show market gazebos on there, so it's clear that the officer's intention in the long term was for the market to return to that car park space. But as you've noticed, they did not make any provision for the storage of the gazebos.
Okay, we'll come back to it here.
I can address that as well.
Item 3, to accept apologies for absence.
Accepted.
Just the one, is it?
We've had one, second later than
Are we all okay with that? Thank you. Item 4, to receive members and officers' personal and disclosable pecuniary interest in items on the agenda. Does anyone have any interest in items?
Sorry, but on a certain, is there going to be an answer to Steve's?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
So we'll just suspend and then we'll start asking questions and then you can carry on answering our questions.
Thank you.
Procedural things we need to we won't go on. It's just
You have to bear with
Sorry.
us.
It's a bit boring. We'll start over there.
Okay.
There'll be a
Going
recording
out that
of
way.
it.
Okay, I think we've got that. Item 5, consider written request for new BPI dispensation. Do we have any new
Nothing
BPIs?
new, no.
Thank you. Item 6, to consider whether items on the agenda should be discussed in a private session.
No, nothing to
There was just one I thought might have been appropriate. Item 9, the Windy Ridge, but I'm not sure it's applicable now, is it?
Yeah. That's fine.
Nobody else got anything they think
No.
ought to be private. Item 7 then, to confirm the minutes of the previous meeting. Assistant Clerk to update on progress and matters arising.
Everything else is covered in other parts of the agenda, so nothing this time.
Okay, so can we note?
First.
Thank you. Which moves us to item 8, which is on First Forward and Home First Market. Could I ask that we suspend standing orders and then?
Yeah.
Okay, we're all in favour of that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so would any councillor like to start us off and ask questions?
I have a question. So my question is that working on the premise that the market will move from the churchyard, like the church area, back to Holmfirth building, in my view, that it'll be in the planning application, the decision was that there would be no temporary structure. So it was a suggestion on the decision that there would be no container or any temporary structure. Now, currently there is 2 to 3 stalls down at the bottom of the current market which fit in a temporary garage, right? I can provide photographs if required, but I'd have to go and take photographs. But they are rammed to the rafters, that garage, with just 3 stalls. So in the new area, it'll be lovely, flagged, very echoey, acousticy, amazing for like an event space. So when they're dragging these stalls out early in the morning and putting them up and putting them back down, how noisy is that going to be at that time? And where are they going to be taking them from? Like, suggested behind the library would be a good idea because it wouldn't be unsightly, because at the end of the day it's a conservation area within a green belt, and everybody else in Holmfirth has to adhere to the conservation rules. So although the container is a temporary structure, it will be an unsightly one.
Yeah, this use of the word container, I don't know where that comes from. Okay, now, so I can explain if you like. We are still in discussion with, I might add, some frustration with Kirklees officers about storage for the site.
Right,
I can explain more about that if you like.
I'd like it.
Okay. We've raised this right at the very beginning, I said to somebody who knows all about this, we've been discussing this for 5 years, and it shouldn't be beyond the wit of man, the scheme having been redesigned. I said, I'm not going to ask how many times it's all been redesigned, because you're not going to tell me. But it's not beyond the wit of man, surely, to design something that can be for containers that would work, that would be visually attractive, and would work. We thought we were going to be using one of what we call the tunnels underneath. And then it appeared about 2 years ago that these were all going to be allocated for bin storage.
Yeah, which would be good.
And on the slight aside, I and a friend of mine, we did a survey of all the bins in the centre of Holmfirth, which are lurking about all over the place and would make the place look a right mess. And we put it to the council that they really ought to tidy the whole thing up. We actually came up with some sites that they might be able to use for this. And they said, well, look, we'll do a survey of our own. So what they've done is they've done a survey, and they said they'd go to see it, but they haven't. What they've done is they're going to, well, as I understand it, they're going to up their collection from Hollygate from once a week to 3 times a week, so that those 6 or 8 bin stores can be used. But we can't get access to them. I've been told a couple of times that that's not going to be possible.
Yeah, but can I just say that?
Yeah, I'm finished, please. I'm finished.
So what we then said, well, okay, we don't mind where it is, and we've got several suggestions as to where it might be. And we kind of looked all around the place. We don't want to go across the main road. So if you could imagine, we pay somebody at the moment to put these things out and put them away again. If you could imagine trying to carry quite heavy gazebos, they're on wheels, but you could move them around a short distance, to carry them across the main road, and we use tables at the moment, we might not do in the future, I don't know. Stallholts might have to provide their own table. We'll have to see. We either move across the road over the traffic, or people have to move from, that site that they're working on at the moment, which is kind of vacant, but I don't know what they're building at the moment. Sorry?
Community garden.
Well, next to that, yeah, the bit that's vacant, they're actually building some structure on. I'm not familiar with the updated plans enough to know what's going on over there. It was suggested that we might want to use that site, and we said, well, no, because you could imagine moving stuff 100 metres down the road across the crossing and back onto the site and then back again and doing that. Now, I agree that behind the library at one level would be quite an ideal site, but again, you're faced with that problem of every time we open and close of having to move stuff across that, and we certainly don't want people getting killed,
So so the last planning meeting, the stallholders came and said they didn't want to move. And
Well, sorry, you're changing the subject now.
no, but I'm just saying that the stallholders said they didn't want to move. So if they stayed where they were,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have this issue.
Yes.
would you?
Well, that's true. I've already explained why we can't stay, and I can enlarge on those things.
But the church says that they're happy for him to stay.
Well, that's up to the church. But we were told that the permission that we got was temporary, it was emergency, and it was on hear no evil, see no evil basis. Now, if the church is going to turn to a permanent site, that's fine. It's going to have to apply for planning permission, because they don't have planning permission for the site of they're not going to get planning permission for the road, because Kirklees, and they don't get a licence for the road, because half the road is owned by Kirklees.
Can I ask you another question then? So like I own a travel business and there is a travel agent in Holmfirth, right? So the travel agent in Holmfirth pays a rent, they pay business rates, they pay staff, an electric bill, a water bill, a utilities bill. So if I rocked up to the market with my laptop and a mobile device and started selling holidays from that stall, and I'm only paying you 20 quid a week,
Well, that's
a
what,
session, 20 quid a session. So my outlay for that, like, morning, right, I'd have to sell half a holiday to cover that, like, cost.
mhm.
So how is that, right, and it's good for me, but Jo owns Tivoli, it's not very good for her, is it? If I'm sat there undercutting, because I've got no outgoings, no costs, bit of a Wi-Fi running from my mobile phone, I can absolutely smash her prices under the door.
So do you want me to answer this question or the previous one?
No,
Because-
it's like this question, so what I want to know is, from a business's in Home First point of view, how are you going to protect the people that pay the business rates, that pay the rent, that pay the landlords? How are you going to protect those businesses from being undercut by your market stalls? How are you going to protect the businesses that have gone through all this drama and all this pain for not, like, if you're going to put a market there, potentially you could ruin it. You know, ruin their existing businesses that have already been struggling by not controlling the consumers that are on the market.
Well, the existing market though, South would be doing that as well, taking customers away from the ones like the bread shop. When they're taking people away from the bakers from the Old Home First.
Yeah, absolutely, but what I'm saying is...
I think the thing is, like, if you get a thriving market in the middle of Home Firth, like the one in Huddersfield, all the other businesses around it benefit because more people are coming in to use them shops and they go to different ones and use them as well.
I don't agree.
I'm not sure this is something we can answer here, is it?
Well, I just wanted to know what the rules were around
Well,
the
so
stalls.
if you want me to respond, I can do that. Firstly, we don't allow duplication of the same sales on the site,
On the market.
on the market side.
Yeah.
And we are happy to talk to people around about what's going on. That's absolutely fine. But competition is of the essence of it. Are we saying we shouldn't have a market at all?
No, I'm not saying that.
Well, no. Well, in that case, because I get permission, we get problems from the existing market holders about how much they're paying on the side, and they don't want their prices to go up, and they're incredibly price sensitive. So we're still waiting for the council about how much we're going to get charged per parking space, you know, per hour or whatever, or per day.
Yeah,
Well,
because
just say it costs the business more to park for the day than it does for a stall holder.
Well, if we're saying that a market shouldn't exist,
No, I'm not saying that.
well, no, but hang on, you can't. Well,
But I'm saying,
Is that the going rate for a market? Because I'm positive that Barnsley Market is near £100 a day, unless I've been told wrong.
well, in that case, if we happily if we charge our stall holders 100 quid a, you
No,
know.
I'm not saying it should be £100 because it's not Barnsley, there's not as many people, but
Well, that's right.
£20 is
Well,
peanuts.
we tried to keep equivalent to what they were paying before they had to move.
I don't think there's
Yeah,
something
but
we're going to
inflation.
But
No,
so,
I
but
just wanted to know.
But I think there is a legitimate question
Yeah.
Yes,
about business. But you see, I think, I mean, I'm not a retailer.
Can I just enlarge
Yes,
this bit
sure.
and say, I mean, at the moment, I gather there are about only 4 stalls where it is now. at the moment.
Well, it varies between about 4 and about 7. That's just about the maximum number we can
Okay,
take.
so the amount of competition is fairly limited anyway,
Yeah.
because there are only 4 stalls. So one of my questions would be, how much enlargement of the number of stalls do you envisage on the new site?
Well, we would like to see a flourishing.
But have you got a waiting list? Are there people
There
waiting?
is a waiting list, but
How
given the
many
time
are
that
there?
I can't answer that because it varies, it changes all the time, and of course not knowing when we're going to move. So just this last week we're inquiring of the existing stall holders whether they want to move or not, or whether they're going to move with us. Because otherwise, if they're not, then we're going to have to find.
I think Councillor Lyle's point takes on more importance. If you've got a list of 30 stallholders all wanting to join the market,
Well,
some of the existing traders in the town are going to be feeling a bit nervous. I can understand that.
well, maybe there will be. But if so, I think what we want to see. I mean, I was in Penistone the other week, and the market stall there, they glassed it in, and the store on the Thursday, it was absolutely heaving.
But
And
there's not
it-
any independence in the town, is there?
Sorry?
It's purpose built for a market
Yeah.
in Penistone.
Yeah, but it's
And this
closed.
storage
That's
is
right.
there and it's closed.
And there's not as many independents in the town either as there is in Home.
Well, okay, so, I mean, the storage issue, I can come back to that if you want me to, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a question on
we
that.
moved away from that,
No,
so.
sorry, I just wanted to know what you were gonna do to protect the business.
I'm not so sure that we do need to set out to protect anybody.
It's not their job to do that.
No, it's not, but they've decided, you as a group, Home First Forward, have decided.
No, we have, no, sorry, Kirk Lees have decided.
You put an application in for the market.
Yes.
Right, so if you don't wanna run a market, I don't wanna run a market, so I didn't put an application
No,
in.
okay,
Right.
we do, but there's always, there was a market there been a market forever, and it was just dying.
Yeah, I
We're,
appreciate
we're,
that.
we're building it back
Please
up
let
to
it
thrive.
die.
Sorry?
Please let it die.
Absolutely,
Right.
what a shame.
So you,
15 years ago, we were on that market, we were
Yeah.
paying £15 a day then.
Yeah.
So it's not gone up in 15 years.
There you go.
Well, inflation's gone up for all the businesses.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not a retailer. We have two retailers on our core committee, but you know, and their approach is this is business. If the market fails, the market fails. So
the thing is though, so you as Home First Forward have decided to apply for a market.
yeah,
And in my view, when you apply for a market, right, you have to scope out.
Yep.
Right, what
Yep.
you want to do. So
Yep.
for example, there's lots
we've
of.
got a business plan. Yeah.
Yeah, so has that business plan been shared with the business community? Because the business community, but why not though? Because you're supposed to be working in partnership with the businesses. It's supposed to be, in my view, it should be a harmonic relationship, something that works alongside. These businesses have absolutely had the roughest times. They've been given deadlines that never happen. They've had a never-ending roadworks. They've had Holygate closed for a week and then it'd be like 7 months. Then all the building work that I went to the solicitors that's next to the building work came out with a blooming migraine, so I heard like thumping for the whole 40 minutes that I was in there. You know, like, I'm surprised they're not all putting claims in for PTSD, it's been that traumatic. And then now we're going to put a market there, beautiful new site, lots of money, put some sort of storage on there, unless you're going to get, like, I don't know, some really good street art there on it to make it look
Well,
better.
that may well be the case.
But you shouldn't put a container there because we're in a green
Who's
belt
putting a
conservation.
container there?
Well, this is a suggestion.
Well, what
Who?
else?
Who's
What
doing
Nobody
that?
else has given us that.
Where else are you
Yeah.
gonna put the tables and the gazebos?
Okay, we've done the container.
No, we haven't finished about the storage actually, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I'd like you to finish hearing about the storage, and
Yeah.
And there's no reason why they should share their business plan. It's like all businesses will have business plans. It's like they don't share them with other businesses and things like that. It's up to them. I think that when I see towns which have got successful markets in them, like Bury, I ain't been to Penistone Market for donkeys, but it used to be good back in the day.
It's closing now.
But but a lot of the successful markets, like Huddersfield Market, I was there on Saturday. They bring a lot of people into the area, and a lot of the other businesses that are around it, they're their best days. The businesses that are around the market, their best days are on the market days. And yeah, I understand there will be competition, but if these people come into the town on market days, they might come back into town on other days when it's not market days and spend their money within the town because they come in and look at it and think how good it is. It brings people into the town. It's an attraction. It's like when the festivals are on in Hunfer, like the folk festival and things like that. Most of these shops have got not to do with folk music or all like that, but they have their best days there because there's more people around. So it.
Can I
Sorry, I was going to ask. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Can I just add, I'll not call it a container, I'll call it a storage facility.
Right.
If this is going to be kept, if it could be kept at the back of the library, and we've been told it's only going to be the same size as a car, then why can't a large car or van or whatever be brought, put them into the, instead of crossing the road, and bring the van over onto the car park and then straight back again? Nobody's crossing then, nobody's going to get knocked over, and it can all be done in one go.
You probably, this is a stupid question because you've probably already considered this, but could the market not go on that library car park up at the top because it's a horrendous car park anyway?
Is you can't park up there.
So a market would be lovely up there and leave it.
It's also very steep out getting up there, and it's a bit out of the way. I think
Well, it's not, it's only stone's throw from the car park.
I was thinking about that though as well. I do get what you mean.
Can I make a point here about the planning process, because we have a planning committee. The plans have actually been passed at the moment, so we've no decision to make, you know. Ideally, this would have happened at our last meeting before Kirklees made the decision, but we didn't do it.
I
We
thought
are
this,
where we are.
this is a conversation about pre-application for storage. isn't it?
But
No.
that's a question, are you intending putting another planning application in
We-
for storage?
Well, that is a possibility, but we are trying to get Kirklees to decide what we're going to do about storage, to advise us.
Whatever, you'll still need to put in planning.
Well, or they will.
They'll not put their own planning in, will they?
Well, they can do, yeah.
But it's
For
your
your
market.
market, I doubt it.
Yeah, but I don't think, well, I asked the other day, because in a sense, we had offered to design, you know, we've got an architect working on the thing. We asked, are we gonna build and own this, or are you gonna do it? And they said, oh, well, we'll do it.
I mean, at the moment, yeah, the permission that's been granted actually excludes storage.
It does, and there was debate about that, and I said several, well,
And should that have been part of the planning permission?
well, there was debate about this, and in the end, we decided to put in a planning application without storage because it wouldn't hold the thing up. But what, and we then said, okay, tell us what you want to do, advise what you want to do about storage. We could do here, 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 and we've looked at several sites around that could work. And they actually have 2 or 3 locations that they're working on the site. But it's, I am told, and I tell you, I'm deeply frustrated because we should have sorted this out years ago, that they are concerned about biodiversity, and they are concerned about the architectural value of whatever goes on the site. I understand those things, but as I put it to somebody yesterday, there's going to be a choice about, do you want to market, or are you going to be concerned about a minor issue, frankly, about biodiversity? I'm all into that, I'm all into biodiversity, and I chair the conservation group, so I'm all into architectural, you know, and it can't be beyond the wit of man, or lady, to design something that could actually work.
Compromise.
Did you ever consider an application for the current site to extend it?
No, because we're not allowed to. We can't extend it.
Have been applied? Have you tried that?
Well, we were told that we would not get use of the site.
By,
First of all, by Kirklees Council, and secondly, by the owners of part of the site. We don't actually have, we're not regulated in any way on that site that we use. We have planning permission, but that expires within a few weeks.
As a current market trader, I do think Home First should have a market.
Yeah,
I think that it
we
brings-
all do, we all.
Absolutely, and we all really do.
retailers do.
I cannot see how a market is going to succeed if you're going to end up asking your traders to bring their own gazebos, tables, and everything else. We are not allowed to park on the site, I've now been told.
Yeah.
So we have to remove ourselves from that site once we've set up. I can't see how it's going to work. And I know Home First Forward have been really let down by the council, I understand that. But at the end of the day, I've got to look as a business at what's going to work for me as a market trader. And if you are expecting us to pay for literally a car parking space, I can't see how that has got a feasible future. I really don't. If you've got a waiting list of 30 stall holders, then good luck to you. But I cannot see how it's going to last. There's got to be some sort of story. Also, can I also raise as well about the dignity at work for traders when there are no facilities for hand washing, toilets, let alone storage. To me, a perfect site would be round the back of the public toilets opposite Sainsbury's.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah.
You've got storage, you've got a building there.
The back, sorry, whereabouts?
Post office.
Where the post office is, we've tried that, the post office wouldn't let us on the site.
It's not that big.
It's not there, it's a
car
car
park.
park.
It's a car park.
Kirklees car park.
Isn't that car?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
It can be used as like, there's public toilets as a storage unit.
Round the back of St.
The bus station.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Bus station car park.
The bus station car park.
Yeah, that's a good idea, that, because it's in the centre of the
It's
town.
right in the centre.
And you can
Yeah.
park at Crown Bottom and walk over the bridge.
But where would the storage
The-
be?
I've
then?
seen
There's
the
storage
door,
next to
there's
the
a-
toilets in that building.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be empty.
And this
Which is a parish council. I believe.
Yeah, it's
right.
very nice.
Can I just say something now, please, Mr. Chairman?
Mary's.
No, actually, I think John probably doesn't.
No.
Can I say something? We've now been going for 35 minutes and we've got absolutely nowhere with anything. As far as I'm concerned, the market where it used to be, which was down here, in the, where the car park is now, was down here with a cattle market on a Tuesday, and on a Thursday it was market day for the locals to come in. They used to bus them in on little buses to bring in. My mother used to come every Thursday. It was a good market. Then of course everybody's had the 10 penneth now about where market needs to go. Well, being a trader in Old Firth for 50 odd years, I'm not now, I'm retired. But I'll tell you this, what you really need, you need to think about the people who are in trade, and they need to have an input. Market traders need an input into where the thing's going. It's no good leaving it to people. I'm not against Old Firth Forward. There's a lot of people in Old Firth Forward haven't sold a thing in their life. And they don't know anything about trading. It's as simple as that, because if they did, this job had been sorted out 12 months ago.
Sorry, we
Simple as
have
that.
two people on our core team who are traders of different sorts.
Listen,
One of them.
listen, I'm having my say now, you've said enough.
Yeah, but you're
As
making,
far as I'm concerned.
you're making accusations and saying.
I'm
things
not
that
making
aren't
any
true.
accusations,
You're
I'm
saying-
telling people.
You're saying you've got no traders on their group. And you just said about two
I
traders on
am
their
not
group.
making any
Yeah, you are
accusations.
doing.
Thomas.
Tom,
I'm saying what the people ought to know. They know this.
They've said themselves that they're not.
They've said, they've absolutely
can I
know.
can I
Listen.
sum this point up by saying?
When, if we turn the clock back to 2006, I was the guy, me and my missus brought the food and drink festival down to Home Firth. We had people at Kirklees that organised that in those days, and it went for about 4 years. It was excellent, really excellent. And like everything else, they pulled away, and it was left to anybody to sort
I'll
out.
go if you don't need me
No,
anymore.
no, sit down, don't take umbrage.
Well, sorry, I thought you were. No, I thought you were
No,
asking me
don't,
questions.
just
I
listen
wasn't
to, all
listening
I'm
to a
saying is,
speech.
all I'm saying is please listen to me, just for a
Okay,
change.
I've heard you. Thank you.
Councillor Blackham.
I'm on the side of the traders, whatever anybody says, but I always will be. It's as simple as that.
Can we let me?
Thank you. I wanted to say that the thanks really to Home Firth Forward, because they did come forward when it looked as though nothing was going to happen with the market, and it has been a very difficult time, and I know there have been a number of issues with Kirklees Council trying to get, so just really a thank you to Home Firth Forward, because they've kept the idea of the market going, and and certainly, it was a market town, it should be a market town, but we need to find a way forward now really through the parish council. Obviously the parish council has no say over any of this. This is all the Kirklees matter, but we do need to decide where we're going to go from this, and I guess we would probably think in terms of representations to Kirklees, the Kirklees Council and Kirklees councillors now, and I think obviously the things that we need to talk about is the hygiene stuff, the toilets and the water. So we need to really ask them what are those provisions going to be, because it appears as though they have not been thought about. And then the other thing, of course, is the storage, that we need a response for that. So I'm suggesting that we, as the planning committee, that we contact Kirklees and Kirklees Council and raise those two issues, which seem to me to be the two most salient issues. Would you say that was?
Yeah,
That was the case. Thank you. So I'm making that as a proposal.
That's fine, that's fine, councillor Blacker, but at the end of the day, we are the elected council to look after Holmfirth, and we haven't done it. We've left it to other people, simple as that. When we did the centre of Market Square all those years ago, Kirklees sent an officer to look after us at the parish, and another officer to look after Kirklees. We met every Tuesday, and we got the centre, the bridge strengthened, and we never even had a set of temporary traffic lights. That was done in 4 months.
Can I take Councillor Blacker's point forward then? Is that something that we think we should be doing as a committee, approaching Kirklees?
I agree with that. I think we should be approaching them to try and come up with a storage solution, working with the traders and Holmfirth Forward. And as part of this storage solution, would it be a small building or something like that? Small, I don't know how big it's going to be, but could it have like a toilet included within it as well? And maybe the parish council might even maintain the toilet if there is being installed, because we actually do that currently for the public toilets in Holmfirth. So having a toilet on the market down there, it would make sense with having events on there and other things throughout the year. So it could be something that we could possibly look into. And the only other thing I was going to say is, I agree with what you said. I want to see a thriving market in Holmfirth. I'm sorry, but when I've gone down to Holmfirth on a Saturday morning, I was there this week. I think there was 2 stalls there, 2 or 3, 4 stalls maximum.
On Saturday?
Yeah.
Just gone?
Yeah. There was only about 2 stalls there.
No.
That was about 11 o'clock when we got there. Was it more early?
Granted, yes, I'd gone by then.
Yeah. Yeah, 11 o'clock I got there was 2 stalls. You sold up by then?
Yeah.
Excellent.
I had a queue, the customer was waiting half an hour in that queue because I was so busy.
Right.
It's a thriving little spot.
Yeah.
It really is.
Good. That's what we're
And,
doing.
and I agree, but we've got to have provisions there for the traders.
Yeah,
We've got
yeah,
to.
we've got provisions there, but I would like to see a thriving market as a bigger market,
Absolutely,
more
yeah.
stalls and something like that, which people will come travelling from miles around. We see buses that go to, there used to be a bus that goes from Holmfirth to Bury every week, to Bury Market, taking people there. It'd be great to have actually people coming into Holmfirth for the market, and the locals do it at the moment and they use your stall, but we don't see like huge numbers.
I'm going to wrap this up in a minute because I think we've covered most of the points that people want to raise. I have one ask perhaps of Holmfirth Forward that you might look at alternative sites. There's been 1 or 2 suggested already. See what the feasibility of those
I
are.
was going to suggest that because the car park by Sainsbury's isn't the biggest car park anyway, and we haven't just spent millions of pounds renovating it. So I think
You've got public toilets.
yeah, and there's public toilets.
To me now that
Crown
makes
bottom,
more
and
sense.
it looks
And that's the council's, I'm not,
yeah.
well, you know, I do think.
I don't know
that's
what
right.
We're not going to talk that in
No.
there. All I'm asking is perhaps we could have a look around and see where else might it go.
Yeah.
Perhaps would be
Or it's small satellite sites, like keep School Street going, keep that going, you know, and it develops from there.
better. Is that something Holmfirth Forward could have a look at?
Well, I'll certainly take it back and see what we think.
I mean,
I will say that one of the major issues that we face is this whole question of transporting stuff to and from any site that we have. So we thought about different sites. Now, somebody said about getting a van and so on. We've got to buy a van and then employ somebody, you know, any number of times.
The one now near the post office that's in that semicircle, so you know when the bus turning,
Yeah.
that has actually got storage in a building there.
Well, yes, I'm aware of that, and I'm aware that the parish council owns that. I'm just wondering, and I don't know, if we did apply for planning permission there, what members of this council and what members of the public would think about taking those parking spaces.
Well, you're just going to take the
We
parking.
can say parking spaces.
Well, if that's going to be the argument we could use, I think we'll look at that.
Plus it's people getting off the buses as well.
Yeah, and getting to the buses
Yeah.
and next to the car park over the bridge through the
Well,
memorial garden.
we're not going to sort it in here, I think.
Well, yeah. So, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'll take suggestions.
And meanwhile, can I suggest that we also follow up on
Yeah,
Councillor
ideas,
Becker's
good
suggestion
idea.
that we'll write to Kirklees.
So I've got action.
What's the rest of the
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Cheers. Thank you for speaking.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah. I'm happy to do what I can.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
listening to me.
Oh, you're welcome. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it was very well tonight.
I'm not sure what we've solved, but thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
So councillors, can I just pick up on those actions then?
Yeah, me as well.
Raise right
Thank you.
please, to make clarification about hygiene facilities.
Interesting.
And the second, I think that was more action from before actually, that they would go back
Yeah,
and speak
the
about
hygiene, but
possibilities.
also the storage.
Yeah.
You've got the storage.
I did storage.
She put storage first.
Storage was first. Then hygiene.
Well,
So the second point was that Home First Forward agreed to go back to the rest of the group and speak to them about an alternative location. Is there anything that you want to put forward about the possible use of storage at the Gartside should that happen?
Well, if they moved to that car park,
it wouldn't be big enough.
it'll be better than what we've currently got, which is Nackall.
Well, we've got a garage, haven't we?
Let's
What are you about
Anyway.
now? What car park are you on about?
Let's let them,
We might post office
Okay.
let them decide what the
You mean the where they keep the post office vans?
No, in front of it, not
car park.
The bus station car park.
Behind the
All
toilet.
people use it.
You know,
Car
you know there's
Them
some
two, well, there's
clown
people.
wanting to put post office down, don't you?
Oh, yeah, well, we'll not be in there, so don't worry about it.
And that car park, the post office has got 20 cars, it's being quoted by a London company who owns that car park, £10.5 million.
Can we move on?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Rattle through these. So just the one action, right, okay.
I think we're on item 9 now, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes, item 9. Currently, planning applications to note the list of planning applications updated.
Well, they all common sense to that last thing.
2, to consider or amended applications from Kirklees Council from the enclosed list. E, books to reduce list that I sent out.
Oh, dear.
So, first one, number 2. New hag farm in Hunley. This is just install an air source.
You missed the part one.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to say about it, is there? Item 8, Woodnock Lane in Huntley, convert barn to a dwelling.
Already, permission already granted on the 23rd of April.
Is that for number 8?
Mm,
Number 3 was, wasn't it?
sorry? Are we talking about number?
We just
The
checked.
Jackson, is the Jackson Bridge one, it's 17th
Number eight,
Street,
number-
that's been granted.
Number 3 is being
Is these the
granted.
dates it's going to be discussing?
Yeah.
Sorry, I beg your pardon.
It was a slightly longer gap this time.
So number 8 then is barn in Woodnock Lane in Hunley. We should convert barn to a dwelling.
I thought this was a really poor application. There was no climate change, I couldn't find one
No.
climate change statement.
They make reference to it, but there's nothing there.
There was no mention of green belt, it isn't in green belt, in the planning statement. It was a very confusing application, I thought. With a lack of information as well, I found it quite difficult to work my way around it, so,
A couple of things I thought in its favour were a very comprehensive back survey,
yes.
and the materials they're talking about using fitting well with stone and artificial stone slates, but no climate change there.
I mean, I thought it looked quite reasonable. I didn't object to what I said, what they're going to do, but there was no climate change statement. And had we decided that we'd take a hard line if there was no climate change statement, then
I think we should.
yes, I think we should. Yeah. Because it's a new build, it's it's a substantial piece of equipment.
Is that sound?
Thoughts over there? Should we oppose it on the basis that they've not?
I think we should ask them for a climate action statement because we need to start as a means to go, and it is in the planning
Yeah.
requirements for Kirklees to have a climate action statement. It's in their planning mission statement.
I think they've just neglected to attach it because
It might be.
they do make reference to it, but there's nothing there.
There's nobody can put the grain around it down there, I can tell you now why. Half of those planning officers that were there when I was there have long gone. And there's people in there that aren't
It's a good point,
qualified.
Kirkley shouldn't have put it on there, should they?
No, they shouldn't.
They have, and, we'll be
But,
asked to look at it.
I think the Foxborough Grace on that reason, no mention of Greenbelt in the planning statement
Correct.
either. So, could we say we refuse, or we don't, I don't feel inclined to support it, if there's no.
Can we go the opposite, throw it to the officer's decision based on the fact that we don't know what the climate statement is?
Yeah.
Because we can't really say no if it's a really good climate statement.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So, should we say,
Bloody well, yeah.
relate it to Kirkley's officers on the basis that there's no climate change statement, and there's no reference to the fact that it's in Greenbelt?
No.
Yeah.
So we think we've got half a story, so therefore we can't make a decision.
Okay.
So you're deferring, but you want to make the point?
Yes.
It might be, Gemma, that they didn't send them yet, or they didn't attach them.
I mean,
There's nothing there.
it's the link to the page, so it will be whether they've uploaded it onto their portal page or not,
Half a
Yeah.
job.
if it's missing.
You're a home for my council.
No, we're not talking about welfare forward now. We're talking, we've got to get through these, otherwise we'll be here till tea tomorrow. So let's just
Number 9,
talk to her about it later.
Cosy Cause Catering, Conway. Which is actually not much to do with the cattery at all. They're wanting to put a new building up for storage. Any thoughts on this?
Well,
I thought it was okay. I mean, it's a pretty non-kind of building, but it's possibly better than the Cattery building, actually phrasing. I couldn't see a reason not to oppose it.
Again, I thought the climate change statement was weak. It's not a particularly pretty building, is it? It's green profile sheets
Sorry, I did also have some,
from
notes
Steve.
from Steve and from Councillor Whitmore.
what number are we on?
Number 9. That's, Steve has supported this one.
Oh,
There
we've
are
got to do
existing
the
buildings
catering.
on the site that look like that, the other storage facility, I mean, this is
Cattery building and
that, so I just think,
Yeah, it's the
I
storage
just think
facility.
we've got to, it's,
I think it's one of
I
these
think
where
it's great,
the changes in the MPPF allow it now. whether they
yeah, I
like
think
it or
so.
not.
How do we feel about it?
The thing is though, there is a lot of storage already in Onley. We're adding more storage, like,
Well, they seem to think they've got a market, don't they? They
They
wouldn't
had
want to
already
do it.
doing storage, they just extended it.
And it makes more money than.
farming. Everything makes more money than farming.
Shall we support, please?
Support?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 13 then. Ellerburn in Honley. This is a detached garage.
No, it's because these are the ones that are in Greenbelt, you see, so we'll look at them, so we'll get contentious on in Greenbelt.
Ellerburn, I know that place, I used to go there.
This is just for a detached garage. The materials are stone and slate, so
In
keep
keeping.
it.
I think
I
it's
think Kirklees have suggested they need to do a tree root survey, because, but that's something that officers will follow up anyway, isn't it?
I think we should support it.
Yeah,
I thought that, and Steve did as well.
It's become quite difficult to oppose it, you know, given the new MPPF rules, it's quite difficult, isn't it?
16, Springfield Farm in Hayde Edge, a barn conversion. I thought a poor climate change statement again.
Can I just say that this conversion barn wasn't supposed to be even built, and then now they're building it into a dwelling?
Who's this?
Well,
Why don't we get names of the people who's closing?
well, they are on the link. So, basically,
Go on.
I'm not keen, because I think that it was just an absolute mick take, the whole process.
A travesty of justice.
Yeah.
It's like the mushroom farm in Epworth, which never grew any mushrooms in it, and then about 15 years later it got converted into a house.
No, because I think they did grow mushrooms in it until she died.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
They did definitely grow mushrooms in it.
It was, no, there was one in Epworth, this one in Epworth wasn't really used. It was like, kind of like as a bit of a front. And
Well, this
No,
was,
it wasn't. So,
this was, so basically, they put a barn up, then they had to go to appeal, then they've got the barn passed, and then appeal, and now they want to convert another barn. I'm abstaining from commenting.
Is there any planning reason why we should refuse it?
I didn't think there was. Except there was no planning statement.
You said that the climate change statement was weak. Is that a grounds for refusal?
Well, we've just refused something earlier.
And that's because it wasn't there at all.
I'm not saying he'd necessarily oppose it on that basis,
I
but
think we should refer it to officers.
I think we
It's a
could expect
contentious
more.
site.
That's,
I think our expectations for climate change, when it's a new bill, which in effect this is, I think they should be pretty extensive, shouldn't
We
they?
should have standards, yeah.
yeah, so let's defer it.
I think
There
it's a
should have been
contentious
there should have
site.
been a planning statement, so there doesn't seem to be one unless it's.
So we'll
Just
defer,
defer.
can we point out climate change statement poor for the type of application, and again, it's in green bond, we've not got any reference to that. Number 17 then, Ash House in Dunford Road, electionary dwelling.
Adjacent to Ash House, 240 Dunford Road. How are you going to fit a dwelling on Dunford Road? Is that down?
It's somewhere, it's.
Ash House is down to your right.
Is it near where Franklin's building used to be?
I think this is quite interesting, this one.
I thought this was a good one.
I mean, their climate change statement is comprehensive to say
It's
the
good, I
least.
thought it was really good, yeah.
It's got solar PV, it's got air source heating, it's got triple glazing.
It'll need triple glazing on Dunford Road.
If it's adjacent to Ash House, adjacent from the low side, from the road side.
It's got the biodiversity net gain statement. I love the phrase about commuting bats. Bats commuting with their little briefcases.
The thing I wasn't particularly keen on, but this is perhaps personal choice, isn't it? The design, the way it's constructed.
That's where the point is.
It's timber and render, isn't it?
Where is
It's
Ash House somewhere?
There.
it's not something we'd expect to see in the whole
Ash
house.
House is that big house.
I don't know, we might have to.
I mean, this is a Swedish design or something?
Yeah, it's a matter of
Looks on down
taste,
and
really, isn't
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we should support it, and I mean, it's in Greenbelt, isn't it, but I don't, it doesn't harm the openness of Greenbelt thing, because it's like.
It's
between
like
other-
infill
between
planning.
other buildings, yeah.
It would be
Yeah.
classed as infill, that, because it's
Yeah.
surrounded by houses in that area.
It doesn't show you the land like, it's a very steep drop where they wanted to build that house, you know.
Well, we can do
30 foot probably into the field.
That's probably why they put loads of
That's-
climate action in, and to be fair, they've offset all that concrete.
Again, I think this is another case of unintended consequences of the changes to green belt. I mean, not long ago, this would clumsy and being considered,
No.
but now it's
I
classed as
think
green
it
belt.
would have
I
done,
think
it's
it
classed
would
as
have
in
done,
domestic
it is.
curtilage, isn't it?
It's in between of the buildings, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still infill, it
Yeah.
always would have been past that.
Anyway,
So we support it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Why not? It's not overly big.
Can't see the number on the next one, but it's the gatehouse in Jackson Bridge. Again, I thought another interesting.
Do you know what, Jackson Bridge is a lovely place, isn't it?
I like that particular building, I think is absolutely fabulous. It's the one with the castellated front, isn't it? It's really nice.
What number's that?
Quite neat.
Number 18.
So small.
So this is demolishing the garage and adding an extension.
I thought this was really good because as it showed, you know, the existing garage, which is a lot later than the house, is a bit horrible looking
It's
thing.
smooth, isn't it?
So the way they've done the link, it's taking up less room, I think
It's great house.
less impact on the openness
No,
of the
not
green
at all,
belt than
not
the
at all.
existing garage, so I would go for this
I
one.
think we should support it.
Yeah.
This space there, it's not
It's
affected by it.
only a three, you know.
I hate the look of it, I've got to say.
Yeah, but you don't have to look at it, we don't have to.
I think that building, I think it's fabulous as it is, and for me, I'd like to see something in the same style, but that's just me.
You're not gonna get that anymore.
No, I guess not.
No.
I just thought it clashed with the existing
Oh,
building.
I thought it was an interesting contrast, so there we go.
Yes.
It is a matter of taste, isn't
It is, yeah. So are we saying we'll support this one?
Yeah.
Okay. 23, 39 Hightown Lane in Holmfirth, another detached dwelling. Another, I thought was quite an interesting one. There's just 2 metres of it is in green belt. I don't
Still
think.
counts.
Yeah, it's 2 metres of the garden actually, the building, nothing.
It's a 3-bedroom, you know, it's a smallish house, that's what's needed, isn't it? So,
We've got one neighbour comment who is supporting it.
and it looks a mess at the moment, doesn't it? I mean, it's going to be better
Yeah,
than.
it's a good climate change statement. I actually thought it looks really well, it looks in keeping with the rest of the row of houses there. I thought this was a particularly good application personally, despite the fact that 2 metres of it is in green belt. I'd be quite happy to support that
We
one.
support it.
Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Thank you. 26, Homeside Farm in Home. This is demolish some outbuildings and erect another dwelling. Good climate change statement, air source heating, solar PV and all sorts of other things.
And it's in the residential curtilage.
Yeah.
So there's not.
Removes redundant buildings, materials are stone and stone slate roof. Couldn't really find much to argue against.
Well, it's domestic curtilage, and it's not really contrarian.
Yeah. I thought it was a really thorough and thoughtful application. I thought it was a good one.
Support that?
Again, it's small, isn't it? It's only 2 bed, I think. So,
Again, Steve supported all these as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Number 27 then, 48 Meltham Road in Hunley. I thought this was an interesting one. They describe it as a, how do they describe it? A link dwelling or something? No. An annex. It's a shed at the bottom of the garden.
Yeah, it didn't
Erection
make
of
sense,
a
does
detached
it?
outbuilding to create a dwelling forming annex. So what they're saying is, so like, there's some rules around annexes where they can have a bedroom and a kitchen, but they can't have a toilet or a sink, something like that.
But this has got the lot. It's got a bedroom, it's got a toilet, it's got a kitchen, it's got a lounge. To me, it's a separate dwelling.
What is it? Well, it appears to be.
It seemed a bit brief, I thought, this application, and there was no planning of stroke access statement, which you'd normally get with a development of this kind.
Poor climate change statement again. Steve raised a point about parking, that the renter will get 3 vehicles in front, which I think is a bit of a stretch. If you look on Google Maps, it shows 2 vehicles and it's full.
So I've just bought my son a car, and it's like the size of a postage stamp. I like that, you know.
No, it is, eh?
Yeah, he's old enough already, Donald, yeah.
I thought they were trying this on a little bit. I think this is a separate dwelling. I don't think it's an annex at all.
It just looks like a bungalow to me. Is it because it's in their garden and they call it an annex? Rather than like if you build one anywhere else, it's a bungalow.
I think the thing is though, is
But it's in there, it's not Greenbelt, this, is it?
No, it
It's
isn't.
just, but it's in the curtilage, I don't
it's in the domestic curtilage, there's nothing you can do.
I think we've got to support it.
There is no planning, you can literally do anything you like in your domestic curtilage.
It's a bit of a complicated one. I was reading up about it. And it comes under like the static caravan rules. This, unfortunately, it's got a bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, so we can't claim it's a mobile home.
Yeah.
I mean, is it something we'd leave to Kirklees to sort of technicalities?
Yeah, well, I bet you leave it to them, because they won't know as much as you, so
Yeah.
they'll probably get it passed through.
Yeah, noting there's no planning access, there's no planning statement.
And it's a poor climate change statement as well.
Yeah, the climate
There's
change,
not
there's other number.
inadequate information really.
Steve recalls that one as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And finally, number 28, Belgreave Barn in New Mill. It's a garage and store, quite a small scale thing, I think. Not sure there's much to say about it.
Okay, support it.
Okay, supporting
Are
that.
we going to have a look at it?
Sorry?
Are we going to have a look?
No, you don't have a look.
No, I've seen it on
On
Google
Google
Maps.
Maps.
Well, I mean,
What's it like?
What's your thought?
no.
What, the old ones?
It's just building, if you finish up being another dwelling, I can tell you.
The thing is though,
No,
that's
it's not.
planning now.
Huh?
That's planning now.
They play the long game, don't they?
It's always been like that.
Just got to play the
No,
long game.
no, but sitting there saying that's planning now, because if you're not telling the truth, then I do not go for it. Simple as
Yeah,
that.
but you can't say that they're not.
We've
Oh,
got-
you can, you can when you live far away.
We've got to have
We've got to have
reasons,
planning
planning
reasons.
reasons to oppose.
We might know that they're possibly not being completely transparent, or we might suspect that they're not being completely transparent, but unless we have evidence that they're not being completely transparent, and their lack of transparency is a planning reason, there is nothing we can do.
You know, I
I'm not
hear that on a
saying-
regular basis now, there's nothing we can do.
I'm not saying.
We, you know, well, I'm sorry, can't do is not in my vocabulary.
I appreciate that, but we oppose this, Kirklees will pass it anyway.
That's a poor attitude to say.
No, but they will though, because it's
I think
there's not a planning there's not a planning law, the planning law has changed.
Listen, I sat for 50 years as chair of planning at Kirklees and they didn't like me because I wanted to get into bugger all they wanted.
Then you probably cost them loads of money at
I didn't.
inspectorate.
I cost them nothing. I saved a lot of properties being
I think,
built up
you know,
all my life.
when you look at the application that's in front of us, which we've got to do,
Yeah, I don't know Mr. and Mrs. whatever.
I don't think there's any reason to oppose it.
It's just minimal, it's just very minimal changes, I don't think.
But if we're voting on this one, then we'd like to oppose it. But
If you want to
yes,
oppose it, do you want to oppose it?
Yeah, I'm not voting for it.
Trustees support it?
And I'm supporting it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just check number 27 was defer and not oppose?
Yeah, defer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the plan.
Right.
No, we haven't finished yet, we've got everything else to go through, unless you want to leave.
Where did we go?
This is usually when it fastest ones go on.
Well, I've been to a few minutes now, and have a quick.
So we're on part 3 of
You know,
8 and
rush
9.
the soups and then
Yeah,
you
I've got
go.
some updates actually.
Yeah, we're supposed to be noting this hearing, but it's been delayed, hasn't it?
That's right. So the notice of appeal for Windy Ridge Recycling has been, the date's been postponed, but they haven't sent us a new date yet.
Right.
Which only came in after I sent the papers out.
And residents have contacted the parish council regarding a proposed registration of mining mineral rights at Cartwell.
So I've got dozens and dozens of communications about this, but helpfully I've got a summary list, which
Well,
I've been asked to read
I have
out.
been dealing with this for some farmers, and
It's been quite the team effort.
can't wait. No,
I get that.
I didn't know anything about that because it wasn't sent to me, it was sent to the Kirklees councillors. But funnily enough, however much money they've spent with the solicitors, I've resolved the problem for free. So, if you forward their details, my details onto them, I will happily help them.
Right.
Except for one person on my list. So basically, you want me to go through
Yes, please,
the
Gemma.
kind of where things are up to. So there's a number of Cartmouth Court residents have received notices from the Land Registry in Wales to explain an attempt by Hardrock Estate to claim mineral and mining rights underneath their properties.
It's under their land.
It's under the land, so the
Yeah.
properties on their gardens and their fields, presumably.
No, just the land.
Right. Is land not gardens?
No, because they're mostly farmers.
Right, okay, but the residents there as well have also had
Some,
the same notice.
so
But they've not sent it to all of them, which is one of the points to be made.
But not finished.
So they've contained a deadline of the 29th of April to receive objections. Neighbours have raised this, and also Cartmouth Moor residents through not all of the households received the same notice, even though it was like the same group of houses, but not all of them got the note. So residents have been in touch with the 3 Home Valley South councillors, and they've all responded regarding various different things that have been going on. As a sorry, thing I missed. So currently, where they are up to is that draft letter to the MP has been put together, and also Councillor Brooke has been working with the Environment Agency on that. So a number of councillors have raised this with the MP as well. It doesn't seem to be connected with Windy Ridge as far as anybody can tell. So it's a separate thing. It was just that it was right next to it, and I think that's as far as.
So I'll give you the background then. So basically, a long time ago, the mayoral of Wakefield, so the Lordship of Wakefield owns all the mineral rights across Home Valley and Yorkshire, all the way from Penistone to York. So it was under the mayoral of Wakefield. They owned the rights around here. In Penistone, it's the mayoral of Penistone or Thurlestone or whatever. And basically, you can buy a lordship. You can buy a lordship of Wakefield or whatever for a couple of £100. So some mining companies have gone around, bought these lordships. This gentleman has inherited the lordship off a former lord and a lady. The lady left it to this man. The man has gone through and said, that looks quite apt for development, I'm going to claim the mineral rights from there. It's not to dig the fields up and to dig the land up. Basically, it's if that becomes infill planning or development, they take a 5% surcharge of the sale of the property or the development of the property. It's nothing to do with Cartmouth Quarry. It's absolutely nothing to do with proper mineral rights. So the stone rights that belong to like Stevie Graham or the Dickinson family who've got a quarry up there, or even Heddlethwaites have got a quarry up on their farm. It's not, Westerby's have got a stone quarry. It's nothing to do with stone. It's to do with, once you've taken the topsoil and the subsoil off, they can then claim that you've disturbed the mineral and they want a percentage of the claim of the sale of the development. That's how it works. It's quite a clever new grift, that's what it is. So basically, a lot of people in the valley did buy, so the mayoral of Wakefield from 38 to 45 became a bit skin. So the lordship came round and said, do you want to buy your mineral rights? So that meant you could, once you took the subsoil off or you cut the trees down and sold the wood to your neighbour, they'd take a percentage of what you'd sold, right? And they sold all those rights back to some of the landowners. Some of the landowners took the rights, some of the landowners didn't take the rights, right? So basically, do you want to pay an extra £5 because we're skin, right? So, but it depended on what land you owned at the time when you bought the mineral rights. So, for example, Westerby's at the top of Cartworth had quite a big bit of land, but it was originally owned by the Robinsons. So the Robinsons bought their mineral rights. So some of the fields that Westerby's own, he has his mineral rights. I've also done it for Linda Kendra, I think it is. She she owned her mineral rights, so I wrote back to the Inland Revenue and presented those mineral rights. It's now case closed. Dickinson's, they have mineral rights there, wrote a letter, case closed. So I've been working with the local landowners up there to resolve these problems, but I didn't know any of that because nobody had, it only went to the ward councillors.
So, the message here is,
We just noted, presumably.
Yeah,
Pass-
I mean,
pass
there's
Councillor
no,
Wiles's contact on to people who,
so do you want me to make an offer to the residents? That,
Yeah, they can do if they want, yeah. But I've done it for about 8 people. That's where I've been today, and then I'm going to Leeds University next week.
okay.
And the reason why some residents haven't got them, Gemma, is because they haven't gone through all of their applications. The Land Registry have had this for 18 months.
Right.
So they're just getting around to it. So some people's deadlines are passing at the end of this month.
Gotcha.
Some people's deadlines haven't even started yet.
So they, yeah, right, that makes sense actually.
Okay,
Not just
moving
been
on then.
missed.
To note, letter regarding pre-consultation for the housing development at Hayedge.
Noted.
To note, email regarding public consultation event at the band room at Hayedge.
Noted.
Friday, to consider any further action. I don't know if anyone went, I went up on Friday. I didn't feel it told me very much, so I didn't know from what they put online anyway.
I spoke to them after, and it was quite interesting because I said to them, there is some issues that they do need to resolve at Hayedge. They might not be planning issues, but they do need to attempt to resolve the issues with the water and the power services because that'll help ease the pressure on the services at the village. Because at the moment, if you live in Hayedge, you're likely to have less power cuts if you lived in India. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's quite bad. Well, I think they think at Hayedge we might have. One at new houses, they bought a power bank. I think, you know, when you like live in a brand new house and it's 21st century and you've got to get a power bank to keep your business going, it's a bit ridiculous, isn't it?
I did suggest to the guy from Jones Homes that he might want to come here when the planning application goes in, and he said he would.
Yeah, they seem
And I
quite
thought-
reasonable.
You know, rather than just having a group of residents complaining, at least he can put his point across as well. So, we'll see. I'm told it's going to be May when they put this in, so it's moving fairly quickly. Item 10 then, Peak District National Park, there's no new or amended applications. Blah 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 blah, and we're noting the publication of a new evidence supporting the review of the local plan. This is a PMPA local plan. Can we note that?
Noted.
And can we also note the correspondence for the timetable for that local plan?
Noted.
Item 11 then, traffic calming. Councillors and assistant clerk to report on updates received from Kirklees councillors and officers regarding Sheffield Road hazard management,
I've had a couple of
SIG location suggestions and progress with the 20-mile-an-hour zones close to schools.
So I've had updates from Councillor Rowlett and Councillor Brooke about Sheffield Road, which appears to be that they have now, engineers have now been out to the site, noticed that some of the condition of the warning signs wasn't good enough, and they are drawing up details for repair and replacement of the signage up there. I haven't had anything further.
They were supposed to come out this week and have a look.
Oh right, I haven't had anything this week through from anybody, but that doesn't mean that it's just not.
No,
Maybe it's just not got to me yet.
No, they are supposed to be coming out this week because
Right.
there was like 15 accidents in 10 days on that stretch of road. But please note that they didn't grit that road at all for 11 days straight.
Which road are you on about? Sheffield Road?
Yeah, from my house all the way down to near you.
So something's being progressed with it, which is nice, actually. I haven't had a response about from the communications from me directly from Vita Highways about whether there's anything else that might be able to be in addition to the repair of what's existing, but I think that's a good start.
So I'm listening for a response. I think that the speed limit needs to be reduced on that road. And
There's something wrong with surface on that road.
I've driven on that road thousands of times, and I'll tell you what, when I first started driving, the first driving lesson I went on, was the first year I went on, I drove up on that road, and all the way up to the roundabout at the Flouts, and then back round. So that's what you did. And my instructor said to me on that road going up there, he goes, you can't really go much faster than 40 miles an hour. And he said that to me 20 years ago when I was 20 years ago. And I was driving up there last week, and yeah, it's 40, exactly the same thing. If you go another 40, once you get to them, there's bits where you can get up to 40 where it's straight, like up the hill to start with, and then there's other bits where you can do. But like once you get to them corners, you can't go around them. If you're going around the corners at 40 miles an hour, you're struggling. And it's a national speed limit road. People who are not from around here, who don't, like me and you, who know that you can't really go around them corners at any speed. And like I say, I drive on it like 3 days a week going to my office, in all conditions, and I've never had a problem, but I drive it at an appropriate speed. Other people don't do, and then they have accidents, or like there was that one last week where somebody tried to overtake somebody on a corner or going too fast. They have an accident, and unfortunately, it's like common sense, right? My mate, who's a copper, says to me, like, it's a limit, it's not a target. But a lot of people see the speed limit as a target and you should be going that fast on it all the time. That's not the case. But people don't understand that.
You wanted to look at the state of the walls, haven't you?
Yeah. But I think it should be 40. On there, all the way.
Yeah.
All the way probably.
To the bit, through the bit.
Well, yeah, even on the type of van company where it's 40 there. Make the whole thing bloody 40 until you get to like
It's a national road.
the big dip where it goes down. You can probably speed up a bit there and that straight bit.
What's our action here then? That we're going to approach Kirklees for some sort of a response?
I think that we need to ask them to clean the dikes because the water runs off the fields and straight across the road because the ditches are not clear, and that they need to try and lower the speed limit of that road.
I think last time there was a number of suggestions that you'd made, that wasn't one of them, but it was speed and repairing the signage and
And the walls are their responsibility because it holds up the road.
I think repairing the signage definitely, but I think we should approach them about doing it, about reducing the speed limit down there, and maybe if that doesn't stop people, put cameras up.
I've asked for cameras on there, but there was not enough accidents.
The problem
Well, they might disagree with that now.
the problem with cameras is that there are no street lamps.
But you could put one up, right? Like say like the
You
ones
could
that they
put a
have
solar one up.
like the ones they have at Lancashire, where they have one at the start and then they have one at the end, and it records how long it's taking you to get from A to B.
Average speed.
Yeah. So you could put one up like at the start of it, like coming out of Jackson Bridge, and then you could put one up at Vic.
I suspect fantastically expensive.
Yeah.
Councillor Lyons, what was it, you said clear out something and I missed the word.
Ditches and the dikes. Because the water runs off the fields and it's got nowhere to go, so it runs straight across the road.
Well, that's one of the problems.
Whereabouts across the road? Which part of the road?
Outside.
Which part of the road? Sheffield Road, is it, or off the road?
The other request from Kirklees councillors was that if we get more residents requested, we can try and direct them straight through to
Drainage problems up there, you know.
I think one of the problems as well is like climate change. There's been so much rain from about November, December around to about March. So much rain, and like it's not helping with the gutters like Joe's mentioned. But the amount of rain that has been ridiculous. So climate change is making it more difficult with roads, and you're seeing more of these things like causing walls to come down and things like that.
I mean,
and it's because of the water.
There's no doubt driving standards to me are quite poor. I cycle down there quite a
Well,
lot.
that road you've been talking about, Sheffield Road, there's no roads in Wall on that.
Yeah.
So down there, wasn't there?
It's nice cycling coming down there.
Stone mice.
The number of times I
I
get
tell you
overtaken.
something, you're very brave because I won't go on my horse up and down that road, it's dangerous. People don't think about what they see coming around corners, yeah, but too.
Okay.
So that was
That was
and then
Sheffield Road.
update on SIDS is that they've had a meeting but no decisions yet, so they'll keep us posted when that happens.
I noticed there's one in where? Scolesmore Road now.
Oh,
Yeah, there
That's
is.
just appeared, has it?
No, it's been there a while.
Oh, is it?
I don't think one of the Sheffield Roads moved yet.
It hadn't last time I looked.
No, I passed it other day, it's still there,
Not
outside
long road,
Barnaby's.
not long road.
So that's.
8 months.
well,
Nearly
that's-
a year.
Yeah, to this one, you have to be a beauty and dip.
Oh, and I followed up about 20 mile an hour
From
zones,
Farley Field, you
generic,
dip down
high
towards
to
that
generic
side,
highways
you
email
go to work
addresses.
about this
But nothing
way.
yet, but that was only in
Well, that
the
coat,
last few
Tony, I
days.
can't remember his last name, he dropped into it, knocking all this.
I wasn't expecting anything just yet.
I'm going to
Okay.
Tom Paul, I think I please for it.
Item 12, ongoing highways campaigns on green lanes. I have been in touch with,
Yeah.
I have been in touch with my friend Will Acornley, and he actually replied this time. The decision was challenged with it, this is Ramsden Road,
Yeah.
and the TR.
We're not still on with that, are we?
Yeah, we are, yeah. Hey, listen, you'll
He
be,
says-
I'll be around and it'll still be going.
The decision was challenged with the judicial review. I met with those parties to try and resolve the difference and to see if the CCLI decision, that's the CCLI, it's local issues cabinet, isn't it? That one. So to see if the cabinet decision could proceed as planned. At the same time, we have also received a counter challenge of another judicial review if the original decision is altered in any way. So he's now in a bit of a fix because he's got a threat of the judicial review if he doesn't change it, and another threat if he does change it. Given this standoff, options have been drawn up for the council to decide on next steps.
Good old gibber.
We are aware of the time limits and are looking to finalise these decisions before anything expires. They have until September. If they haven't made a decision by September, they have to start all over again.
You and I were
And
first,
it's been going since last April, so it's now
when I first took that on board, 2016, I took that on
I
board.
remember
And
discussing
they've
it.
been mullicking and messing about ever since, they've done nothing.
Well, they have actually repaired a little.
Oh, they put some blocks there and then they took the buggers away. At 8 o'clock one morning, they took them all away.
the only positive thing I can say is I've had a response.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's, to be fair, a response is progress.
Well, here's to the response and I'll drink to that.
Item 13, planning policy guidance and consultation. We note in the West Yorkshire Combined Authority and the Mayor's West Yorkshire Local Transport Plan. We're also noting the UK government have published a new set of toolkits. Which is going to be useful, isn't it?
Noted.
We might be, well, with, at some point,
Well, yeah.
in the not too distant future,
This is for the
the
neighbourhood
neighbourhood
plan.
plan will have to be updated, so that could be very useful.
It seemed like they weren't all out yet, so they've released a series of them, but not all of them had been updated, from what I can gather.
Okay, item 14, design guide. Councillors to report on rollout progress, updates and feedback.
Can I say that I've noticed that there is a new shop in Home Firth that's painted its stonework white, and it's in a conservation area, and I've checked that the building is grade 2 listed. So can we contact Kirklees and ask them to investigate the new building? Or the new, it's a rental building as well, so the
I
landlord,
gather it's a nail bar, isn't it?
it's a nail bar, yes. And they've painted all the beautiful stonework white.
What,
Well, where is
you
it?
mean the lintels and the facade, where is that painted that way?
Yeah.
Well, is it?
Where Andrews used to be. You know, before they moved originally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it more or less next door to it?
Yeah, something like that.
I keep saying I'm going to look at it, but I keep going past it.
Anyway, it's not brilliant and it's a breach of planning. And
The process here, as I understand it, is you have to put a complaint in online to enforcement. And then sometime in the next century.
someone's off
somebody
sick
will
and someone's having a baby.
look at it. Say it again.
Someone's off sick and someone's had a baby, so there's no enforcement.
Yeah.
Is that alright with everyone, if that's the action out of that one?
I don't know whether we can do that as a.
I think we should
to do it.
council.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's online, you can do it
You can do
online.
it.
Yeah, we can do it.
it online.
Yes.
And they'll give you a reference
Yeah,
number,
yeah,
so you
I've
know about
I've
it.
done stuff through the online system.
Yeah.
Well, let's do
Well,
that.
because the thing is that what's the point of having a design plan if someone then comes and paints all blooming grade 2 listed building white?
This was a big issue on Facebook, but nobody actually does anything. They all complain, but nobody says, I put a complaint.
I wasn't on that Facebook group, so I don't know.
I did see it.
I try not to read it. It upsets
You'll probably
me.
be banned from that group anyway.
It brings me nasty side out.
Next!
Can you remember what the name of the business is? Or what number?
It is a nail bar. I will get your picture.
Is it
and
on
send-
Huddersfield Road?
Yes, and I will send it you on the way at home. I will stop and say.
Is it the one that was your nuts?
Yeah.
Alright, okay, I can just look up the address, that's fine.
Okay,
And I'm not against the business. I'm just saying what they've done is factually. I don't really care. It's just not what they've done is not correct.
I mean, just back to the design guide, I've not really had that much feedback. What I have had has been quite positive when I've handed them out. It's a shame that somebody didn't look at that before they painted it.
It is,
Maybe.
absolutely.
Has anyone else had any feedback on these?
No, I think well, no, not really. I think people were a bit annoyed that we might try and waste money and give them instruction, but like, say a guide, it's not the law, is it?
No.
Clearly when it is the law, it doesn't matter anyway, so it doesn't really
Maybe
matter.
we should be a bit more proactive really, about new businesses, if we can. But, yeah, it's nice and easy on the streets, isn't it, really?
Well, that's the thing, a lot of these new businesses, they might not have got the guide,
Yeah.
just your people on it.
You
So
just don't get to
it's-
hear about them until they appear, do you, these businesses?
It might work with keeping a few of them guides, and then if there's new businesses that are opening, we just stick them up through the letterbox.
We did say that we'd put them with, estate agents, didn't we?
I wonder whether it's worth
I
whether it's worth doing a welcome pack to new businesses to tell them like,
Actually,
what,
that would be a good idea.
do you know, like, this is the local parish council and this is your local business group and this is where you go for this and this is where you go for that and these are the rules, don't paint your building white. You know what I
It's
mean?
not a bad idea.
Look out on the pavement.
Yeah. Don't
No,
move.
what's running across the road.
And can I just also say that those gazebos are still like illegal label in the middle of London,
Which are not.
outside the cheese
Cheese
shop.
shop.
Yes.
I've got more
I
than one
think-
cheese shop, I would more than one.
No, just that one.
Just that
They
one.
make a
Yeah.
point of parking their van on the new pavement as well. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I don't.
I'm told that they own that piece
I
of
think
land.
it's quite unsightly that.
Can we move on, Chair?
Yes.
Well, it's
Sorry,
inappropriate
yes.
and it's a conservation area and it's not, it's.
Councillor Dixon is quite correct, let's move on.
Yes.
Item 16, section 106, funding. I don't know if I'll have a chance to have a look at the
You were right with that, wasn't it?
Few thoughts on it really. My first thoughts were, you could almost query all of these things and say, what's happening to this money? My feeling is that if we did that, if we go back to Kirklees and say, tell us what you're doing with all of this, we'll just not get anything.
I wonder if it's worth saying, we noticed that there's some 106 money allocated to this and we would like to use it for that.
I just wonder whether if we chose 3 or 4 to go back and say, could you give us an update on these, because these don't look quite right. I mean, for instance, Head Edge, 2017 this goes back to, which is the Jones Homes. There's quite a sum of money, I can't just remember what
There's a
it was.
2013 one there.
I
I think we
missed
should.
one, sorry, can we go back, we've not done that, item 15.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
What's that?
I thought we missed that.
Updates.
Converse Town Centre updates, you're quite right.
Oh, well,
Sorry, skip back
Olligate's
one.
Olligate's open,
Well, it's time being,
the car park looks amazing,
for time being.
parking fees have gone up, what else is there?
We
Have
have
we?
been, yeah, we have, that's why I wanted to jump back. So we've had a notice through from the Kirklees Blueprints team about experimental traffic regulation order. Put teeth back in. about the lay-by on Town Gate, which is the one that's next to the church of the Ironmongers. So this only came in this morning, so I haven't had a chance to circulate it to you, but it is about there's a single yellow line restriction for that lay-by. So what I will do is circulate it, but the sort of period for comments on it is only to the 8th of May.
They're supposed to give longer than that.
Well, it came today, and yeah, so that's sort of less
Can you
than
go
2
back to them and
weeks.
tell them that they've got to give longer than that?
What significance is a single yellow line against a double yellow line nowadays?
I think it's limited time, isn't it?
So it's
you have to look at
restricted,
the
and you have to look
sign.
at the fine. So it will be no waiting 8 till 2, except taxis, and 8 till 6 with no exemption.
What about
But this is-
funerals? Weddings?
Outside the Ironmongers case, you know where Uncle
So no waiting
What
between.
about funerals and weddings?
Nothing is said about funerals and weddings.
I mean, at the moment, it's a free-for-all, isn't it?
Yeah, because they forgot to put the lines back on.
I'd like to think they wouldn't ticket somebody who's doing a funeral or a wedding,
Don't hold your breath.
but, so it's, option 8 and 2, no,
It says no, so what it says in this one is single yellow line restriction, no waiting, 8 till 2, taxis exempt, 8 till 6, no exemptions.
So,
8 till 2 a.m, 8 p.m. till 2 a.m, taxis
Yeah,
are
so I think
allowed.
it,
right, so
Evenings is fine for taxis, 8 till 6 p.m. I don't know what happens between 6 and 8 p.m.
Now, when you say taxi, you mean taxi hire taxis, you don't mean private hire.
Doesn't say.
So, Gemma, can we please go back to them and say, the statutory right is longer than you've given us, so we need to give the public longer. So, and that's not a reflection on you, that clearly is a reflection on them.
we need to know what it is between 8 and 6, because to be honest, right, you could probably do having parking there, like maybe an hour, let's say more than an hour, or like half an hour, to go drop off stuff at the shop and pick stuff up, for the businesses that are on there, so it's like an hour.
It was an hour before, you could park there an hour and then leave.
So if it is that, then it'd be alright, wouldn't it?
Okay, there is a longer explanation here, sorry. Revise the current one. The order introduces daytime parking restrictions from 8 till 6, allowing use for disabled parking and loading only. Taxi operating hours remain unchanged at 8 p.m. to 2 a.m.
so loading would include,
So
It's an exempt, so
Presumably-
exempt
It would
loading.
include wedding and funerals, wouldn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, so I think that's okay.
Yeah.
These changes are intended to improve accessibility to the town centre. Lay-by remains available for short stay use, particularly for unloading and loading, as well as those with limited mobility. The order responds to concerns that raised by local business regarding the use of the lay-by for extended parking during the day.
No, when you do.
Yeah, this one missed, wasn't it, when they did the scheme originally, and they cocked it up, so they've corrected it now, so I think I'm happy with it. Done something about it.
So it's not quite a consultation, they've gone out.
They've got
comments.
to give notice for so long because it's a change.
but if we're happy with what the
Yeah, we're happy, but we've still got to extend the notice because otherwise it's not legal. So it's irrelevant.
Are we sure about that? Is it, I mean,
Well, how about we just
it
query
depends
it?
what the date on.
I don't think they would have put that out there.
The date on here,
I'm sure the.
I think it may have only just come to us much later, because the
It's
date on
probably
here is the
been-
23rd of March.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we still have to do a public consultation
Is
for
that
that
right?
length of
No.
time.
But if it's already been released the 23rd of March, then I don't think.
It's been in the domain, that one.
That mistake.
I
If,
think,
if we as a council aren't querying the conditions, there's any point raising an objection there.
Well, I'm not creating the conditions, it's just the rules are the rules, aren't they? What's the point of having-
But we think it's just come to us late.
it looks like it's gone out,
Yeah.
it says
I think
it's gone
it's
out on the
gone out. I don't
23rd of
think-
March, I think it's come to us.
I know what's
Possibly as
funny.
an afterthought.
Well, Kirklees Council said that they told school that they were putting a fence up and they put the message outside Eckwood School. So, like, beggars believe that I don't actually believe anything they say. So can you
Well, how
check?
about we query it?
I'm not happy with this. I think we just don't, we don't query it. I think that's the date, 23rd March, 23rd March.
That's the date that's on the map that
Yeah.
they sent.
try and query it, it might take longer for it to get resolved, which is what we don't want.
Can we just ask for confirmation that he did in fact go out in March?
Yeah, can you ask them that it went out on
We could,
Friday?
but I mean, that's asking somebody to respond, and it's very pointless.
It's wasting money.
It is a waste of money, really, and now we secretly don't do it, if people resisting.
I just don't think that, all I'm saying is, if it's a public consultation and it has to be done by a certain length of time, look at all the mess that's been done by Ramsden Road because they haven't followed the correct process. I'm only asking to confirm, you don't have to publicly confirm it, just confirm that it did actually go out on that date, because if it hasn't gone out on that date, and then something goes wrong, and someone else challenges it,
I mean, there is a point there. We might not have an issue with the conditions, but Joe Boggs down the road may, and he hasn't seen it because it hasn't been published.
I just want to confirm it's been published.
We think it has been published.
Has
I don't believe it has.
there been any signs of lampposts or like that?
No,
I haven't noticed any down there.
no I haven't, and I was there.
How businesses been notified? I
I
don't
take,
know.
I take
Should
Mary's
speculate.
word that I don't think it just ask for confirmation that they've done the thing correctly.
Okay.
Only because they put the sign upside the wrong school, so I just want confirmation.
Oh, but that's a completely different issue, and a bit pointless bringing that up.
Oh, I'm just saying, it's just, yeah.
They are lax with,
And the thing is,
TRLs, as I know
yeah,
from Ramsden Road.
Ramsden Road have made a right mess of that.
So in terms of responding to the conditions,
We're not bothered about them, we're happy with them.
I was going to suggest that I circulate this to full council as well, because they've not had it yet,
For information.
just for information.
It's
Just
too
because
late by then,
it's,
won't it?
because, well, if it goes to full council as the meeting, it will be after the 8th of May, so I can just forward, I can circulate this tomorrow, potentially.
Okay, are we okay to move on?
Yeah.
Back to 106. I was, I can speak, I was suggesting perhaps querying
So you carry on.
2 or 3 or 4 of them, rather than the whole lot, in the hopes that we might get some sort of a response. The one that sort of stood out to me was the one at Aid Edge, which goes back to 2017, and it's for education. Now, I'm a bit surprised we're putting money into education when the numbers are falling away. And the other thing is, when you look at the actual conditions of the S106, that money was only for 5 years.
It's probably for the time that the kids are at school.
I think sometimes the developers are very canny with these things, aren't they? And they ask, they ask for conditions or this is to go for something that they're pretty sure will never be needed, and then obviously it reverts to them after 5 years. So no, it just seemed a bit ridiculous, doesn't it? When school rolls are falling,
And there's quite a lot in education. There's another one at Upperthorne,
yeah.
and another one at Brockholms.
There's probably a calculation that they have where there's only so many new pupils at the school, how it's going to cost each one to go through there and all that kind of thing, maybe a bit more. There's some kind of calculation that they use, and it should go towards the school to help fund that. But I think we should chase up everything before more than 5 years old. But that adds a few more to it, but like, I don't think that, I was going to say 2020, but like, that makes it 6 years. Imagine just anything before 5 years, because like, it's a good update.
If anything before 5 years, it's probably on the computer.
And the feedback,
exactly.
and the feedback from people at Hayden Edge on Friday was, they want a better park, they want better facilities. Education does come with play, so why can't we use this 106 money? And it's a legal requirement that money is spent.
Which leads me on to the next sort of part actually, and we've touched on this before. When we see new developments coming along, like Gin Lane, how do we get involved in that S106 process? In fact, what is the process? Who decides what?
So I'll tell you about the 106 process because I have experienced it, the 106 process. So basically, they look at the surrounding area and will say the area needs a wider road, better drains.
So who's there?
The planning department.
So planning officers?
Yeah, planning officers with highways and like the planning committees look at it and say we need this, we need this, we need this. So then they put it in as part of the negotiation for the 106 money. It usually has to be paid on start of breaking
Yes.
ground. So as soon as you dig your first spade, you have to put your 106 money on the table to pay please, and then they are supposed to then spend it. And they selectively don't spend it, but they are legally obligated to spend it
Or give it back.
or give it back. And I have known in Barnsley that give it back. Okay, please just don't seem to give it back.
But my question here is, well, twofold. One, as a parish council, do we think we should be trying to get involved with this
Yeah.
process?
Yes.
I personally think we should.
Mm-hmm.
And really, how do we do that with Kirklees? At what point, I mean, would they even allow us to do that? I don't know. We need to make some sort of an approach to them, don't we? And say,
Yeah, we discussed this at the reference group last Friday.
Mhm.
And it's clear that on this statement here, there's no named officer. So I think we should try and find out who it is and then open a dialogue with whoever the officer is, to see at what point could we get involved, because obviously, you know, we're supposed to be the eyes and ears on the ground, aren't we, and with local knowledge, and see if we can have a more sensible selection of section 106 contributions.
I mean, I'd like to
It's
think.
generally seen as being, I was reading a report today that section 106 is being looked at and kind of fairly root and branch approach to try and improve it, because it's well recognised that this happens, you know, there's money sitting in coffers and not used for things that should have been used, because the process is so complex. So we're going to try and shorten it, you know, reduce the complexity of the process. I mean, mostly what the board reading was about housing, the affordable housing, and a lot of affordable houses there are just stuck because no social provider wants to take them on, or social providers can't take them on. So I mean, it's generally recognised that it's a bit of a mess. So I think if we can get involved at an early stage, that would be good.
I'd like to think with, like the Head Edge development that we think is coming, that
Yes.
the residents would
Yeah.
actually come to us and say, we'd like a kiddies play area, we'd like a path going through to the school, we'd like whatever it is.
Electric, 24/7, 7 days a week,
Don't go to-
365 days.
Can be spent on that. But maybe we,
But that's,
you know,
that's a point we could support it.
organise a public consultation, and it appears, doesn't it, that I think you just said, was it Joe said, that the developers seem quite positive about getting involved.
The thing is, yeah, and I think the thing is that when you pay a 106, it's a levy. Like if you don't have any social housing, you have to pay a higher 106. And the thing is that they have to pay it.
Yeah.
So they'd rather it went on what they agreed to spend it on. If the council changes the 106, it is supposed to be legally changed with in line with the development and and the council. They can't just reschedule that money. They have to get the developer to agree.
Yeah, it has to, yeah.
Because it's a legal obligation.
Couple of things sort of going forward then. Firstly, taking Tom's suggestion that we query all the ones
Over 5 years.
over 5 years.
So, before 2021.
Okay.
Any idea who I'm talking to exactly?
Well, this is the problem, is we haven't.
I don't even have a generic in mind for this one.
It's the S106 officer.
So I have a lady.
Yeah, the job provides with the contact.
So speak to a lady called Teresa Harlow. She's common sensible.
She used to be in planning there, didn't she?
I know that name,
Still
yeah.
there. No, she's still there, but she's just not in planning. But she's still there.
Yeah, she's not in planning, I know that's a fact.
She's a bit in background.
She came to speak to us.
And what are we querying?
She's been around
Are
for
we-
ages.
She's really good.
Are we saying
Well,
where
sorry.
is this money up to? Where
Can you-
has it been spent, or what is it
Yeah,
planned to be spent
I
on?
don't think we should overload them with every single one,
Yeah.
because again, it's, you know, we're trying to make a point here, really, aren't we, that there's the money sitting in the coffers, and we're not maybe interested in every single one, but it's just enough to actually show what's happening and
If you don't sell out down there, you don't get out. It's as simple as that.
So what I think.
We've had
that's-
problems, and remember, not only were we parish council, there were three others, there were Kirklees as well. We did get them to bend the rules a little bit so we could have some money back, but they were very reluctant to do it because something's already had it earmarked for something else,
Yeah, but they're not spending it.
you know?
So the second point was, how can we as a parish get involved with that process?
You can't.
You can, because you
We
can
could, we can, and then.
It's a big job if you want to do, because we've
And in
tried.
the wider statement that this has come from, that you've abstracted it from, there was a line which said that the consultation with local groups, and so
I hope we can get involved.
And then I think internally, we need to just
We're
watch
very
out
honest,
when we get these, if
Yeah.
we ever get these big developments going
Look
through.
at Sonic Saxon with this money then.
There's two that I'm aware of at the moment, one's a Gin Lane one and one's a Hayd Edge, which neither have been passed yet, but once they've been passed, I think that's the point we need to be
I
talking
think we
about.
need to be proactive and then go and ask, well, as soon as they're passed, not wait till the spade's in the ground, because that's too late, because no one will be running so.
I think when application comes in, we need to be on the ball
Yeah.
and say that's quite a big, we want in on
Yeah.
that.
But I think it'd be good to know how they calculate how much it's going to be and where it's allocated. So like what I mentioned about the school thing, like if they need something like, I'm just putting a figure up in the air, 10 grand per kid who's going to be living in these houses to go to the school. So that means 10 grand from each of that, and then is there any more money that's in addition to this which can go on Hayd Edge Park or something like that? Or is there anything for highways as well to fix these things? I'm just speculating here, but it'd be good to work out how they come to these figures, and then we can maybe say have some kind of input.
I'm
I have a
told that,
breakdown of how they do the 106.
yeah, I'm told there is some sort of mechanism for doing
Formula
it.
for
You
it.
can
Yeah.
work out how much the 106
It would be quite interesting to ask about the, the land off Woodhead Road, Brockhall, the big one, that towards the improved education facilities at Brockhall's Primary School and Homley High School. That's one of the biggies, isn't it?
Yeah.
It seems like some of the money's been spent on Aiden School. They got some money from section 106. It was one of the plan applications today for the caretakers building that they've converted into a new centre, something like this, the juniors and the infants.
I mean, my point is here,
It's really good seeing it being spent on that actually.
my point is here though, with junior schools, the numbers are falling, they don't need money for extra places.
But if we're bringing extra houses in though as well, it's going to, you might see an increase to start with, but then I know what you mean. In theory.
Anyway,
I'm not sure what we've decided, what we.
We've
we
decided
decided
to ask.
three things, we're going to go back with a list of 5 years and older,
5 years and over.
ask where we have those.
Yeah.
We're going to ask how we get involved with the process going forward. And internally, we're going to watch out when we get the bigger developments passed.
Not passed, when they come into planning,
When they come to plan.
we need to contact the officer and say, what are you doing with this 106?
But they don't decide that until they've passed it.
No, they do. Absolutely. Your 106 is on your, before you know what you're paying. It's a negotiation between the council and the developer before it's passed. That is part of the development. I have negotiated 106s. So I will tell you now.
You're right, but what I mean is, I'll not use that example, that might be a bit contentious, but you'll get, the planning committee will say, okay, this is approved, and then they start negotiating the S106, and they can't start, the actual real approval doesn't happen until they've sorted that out. That's the way it's happened at,
So when they say to you, we are looking at agreeing your development, we are just negotiating your 106. This is what we think we want from your 106. And then you go back and go, I aren't paying that. So let's talk about it.
Well, I think if we find out who the person is who's responsible for it, and talk to them and find out what the process, exactly what the process is, and what's the best point at which we need to intervene as early as possible at least.
I don't think you could go and talk about this Hayd Edge development now to Kirklees on this 106 movie, because the plan hasn't even gone in.
Yeah, it's still the early days, isn't it?
I don't think you could with Gin Lane because it's still not been approved. But I'll stand corrected on that. I mean, let's see what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's not approved because you can't get the 106 over the line.
Yeah. Are we done on S106 then?
Yeah.
Steve did sort of suggest that we might have, he didn't call it a working group, but words to that effect, and I just thought,
I don't think we're there yet.
are we all working grouped out?
Could
think
that
I am.
not be something that gets handled by the local plan group? Feels like that's something that.
Well, we've a bit of overlap, haven't we?
Yeah.
with the-
Well, it has been, it has been on our agenda, and Adrian Barra Club from Riverhorn Connections is very, very keen on this, and he said, if we, so it's in the notes of the last meeting, if we do set up a working party, he would like to be part of it, and I think that would be a really positive thing, because it's, somebody who knows a lot, and, yeah.
I think we're still too early for that though.
Yeah,
So no more.
yeah. But I think it's
Why is
worth
it
bearing in
why is
mind.
it too early?
Because we don't know what we can do about it and how we can affect it. So
But-
once we
but
know,
that working group could be tasked with finding it out, couldn't it?
Gemma's writing to them, so well, I think maybe at the next meeting we might be at that
Maybe the
point.
next meeting.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't want
We're
to
not
delay.
far off.
I don't want to delay too long, really.
Yeah.
I do take your point though,
Yeah.
that there are one or two people who's quite interested in
They
this,
are
and
quite,
maybe we
yeah.
can
Yeah,
pull them
and,
in as well.
and kind of lift it out of, because it's not really to do with the local plan, but lift it out.
Mm.
And it's probably more appropriate that the parish council deals with this. And yeah, and it would need a working group. No, I don't think it's been a long-standing one, but if we can get Adrian in, that would be really good.
Yes, it will.
Because he's pretty on the ball.
Okay. Item 17. Standing committee expenditure against budget and EMRs.
Noted.
Am I missing something here? Didn't we have in our budget for a shop front?
First, we were looking at sponsorship.
That was, that's all you put in your budget for this year, really. It's a new year budget,
Is that not this?
that's what that says, yeah. But for some unknown reason, the planning committee's budget line is called neighbourhood plans.
Oh. But that's what that £1,000 is?
Yeah.
Right.
That's all you asked for.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just the way the terminology doesn't
Yeah.
suggest that it's
Well,
a shop front.
We've asked you a couple of times if you wanted to change it with the name of the budget line, and you've not, so. You can resolve to change the name of
No,
the budget line
I'm
now
alright,
if you
so
want.
I understand what it's about, that's fine. So at some point, we've got to start and think about that, haven't we? What we-
Yes, I did actually, I visited the clerk in Melbourne
Mhm.
last week, just to catch up on kind of a few bits and bobs of how they operate and how we operate, and see where we might be able to start to think about sharing best practice. So I did ask about their shopfronts grants programme, and the way they work it is that there's no grant cycle like we have. Anybody can apply at any time during the financial year. You're probably better off applying near the start of the financial year because that's where the new pot is. They can apply for any amount up to £2,500. They have a pot that is £5,000. So that's how they work it. I think they generally spend it all most years, and they just kind of have it as part of the website. But they have got all the full T's and C's and everything on the Meltham Town Council website, so we can go through and have a look at those at any time, if that's what you wanted to do. And obviously you've got this 1,000. So you don't, there would be a little bit of change that would be needed to us, our standing orders, because this isn't currently a grant giving committee, but that's, as long as everybody agrees, that's a fairly easy fix. And financial regs allows for it, so.
I don't think there's anything to do at this moment anyway, is there?
Not unless you want to get cracking on it, but.
And given that we're going to be
yeah.
going into a new council year anyway,
I think
perhaps it's something for the.
Yeah, I mean, this is a weird one because we are technically in planning 1,
Yeah.
number one
Yeah.
here, but actually potentially planning may change by the next meeting, so
Yes.
it might be worth hanging on until you know for definite who your next year.
So if you carry that forward for the next.
I can carry that forward, yeah.
Okay. Item 18 then, publicising the work of the Home Valley Parish Council. Assistant clerk to update on planned activity.
We are currently in election sensitivity, there's not a right lot going on, just the business as usual stuff. If you've got anything with that. I think there's lots of stuff that once we're into the middle of May, particularly around the civic, that will be kicking off then. And some of the kind of consultation around the vision, which we've got a meeting about tomorrow.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that's a bit quiet at the moment.
Okay, and it's exactly 9 o'clock.
Well done. Oh, excellent. That's brilliant.
I put the clock back.
What's the meeting tomorrow, Joe? I'm not involved with that one, am I?
Are you on the civic working group?
I don't think
I've
so.
been sort of drafted in at late stage to support with any.
I was in the civic links group, but that's a different
No,
one, isn't
that's
it?
different, this is the vision one.
Oh,
So,
right.
the intention is to nail down the plan for consultation work about the vision and how we talk to the public collectively as also on the civic about what's happening, what the plans are.
Exciting.
It is. It's, I get the feeling we're on the cusp of something quite big.
Yeah, but it's gonna take a long time, but yeah, hopefully.
It's just, it's just over time. I think getting the funding and getting the support of funding and application, that's the thing that's going to be quite long-winded.
But the lady that's picking that up, Karen, she's quite upbeat about it.
I haven't met her yet, so.
She's really upbeat about it. It's like, it's no problem.
Right.
Tell me how much you want.
Great.
I think
Great.
But she doesn't, she seems to think it's quite a strong candidate for her.
I would hope so.
I think, I really get some positive feeling about it. It's quite good.
That makes a change, doesn't it, when you start going out and stuff?
Yeah. I might think differently after tomorrow night. But
I'm sure you will.
Hopefully not.
Right. Thanks, everybody.
Yes, thank you.